Hello, everyone! After familiarizing with the basics of Maya software and animating a simple object, we're ready to move on to a more complex animation using a rig. Now, you're seeing an example of animation which we will be creating in this section. And as you can see, this time not only is our main object moving, but also its separate parts, the propellers. Let's open our working file called assignment_section02. Here, we have an airplane rig. A rig is like a skeleton of our 3D model, consisting of a series of interconnected digital bones and controls which let us move our object's different parts of the body. So eventually, the rig is a tool which we can use to manipulate the 3D model like a marionette with strings. In our case, we don't actually have the bone structure which a rig usually would because it's still a pretty simple object which doesn't require it. But in my scene, I also have created a chain of a few digital bones just to show you what I'm talking about. And in the upcoming section, we will have a character with a full bone structure, so you'll be already familiarized with it. Now see, if I select the first joint, I can move and rotate the whole structure. If I select the second one, it only moves the rest of the bones which go after it. And so on. Like an arm, you can move a shoulder and it'll move the whole arm. Or you can move an elbow and move the forearm and hand with it, but not the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to delete these joints now because we don't need them, so we can focus on our airplane. Our object has these circles around it, which are called the NURB circles, and these are the controls that we can use to move our 3D model. In the future, you may run into different types of models with various rigs, and there may be different controls having different shapes and colors. But all you need to know is that these NURB objects are constrained to the object or its joints, and they're set up for you in such a way that you can set your keys on them without disrupting the position of the joints or the geometry of the model. Let's take a quick look at the outliner. Here we have an airplane geo group, which includes the whole geometry of our object and its constraints. First, we have the geometry of the plane body. Then we have this little red chain sign, which means that we have a constraint set up on our airplane group. And then we have each propeller's group with the propeller geometry and their constraints. If I select the group, in our channel box, we can see that the channels have a blue bar on them, which means that these channels are constrained to something. In our case, they're constrained to the root control, which is this big NURB circle. Our propeller groups also have constraints, but only on the rotate Z channel because they will only be rotating in this axis, and each of them is constrained to its own smaller NURB circle. So for the future, when you get a model and you select its part which you want to key in the timeline, but it has the blue channels, this means that you selected the wrong thing because you can't key the channels which already have a constraint. Maya wouldn't understand that. But if you did that by mistake, you'll get a green bar next to your channels indicating that something's wrong, and Maya is confused about which values should be prioritized, the ones that were constrained or the ones that were keyed. I've set up our scene in a way that we can't select our geometry in the viewport by mistake because it was put in a separate display layer and set to reference mode, right here. And its controls are in another layer, so that you can easily hide them if you wish to by clicking on the letter V. Now that you know what the rig is, in the next lesson, we'll start animating it. I'll see you there.